We'll be talking about distal fracture, concomitant ulnar fractures. So in 1996, when this paper came, the ulna became important in distal fractures. Paper by Rickley and Rigazzoli. It was a report of series of 20 cases. So just want to biomechanically, ulnar column is the axis of forearm rotation. So it is important. And we'll just go through few cases and literature and try to understand what's happening. So came in 2013. He described concomitant ulnar fractures with distal radius into 5 types. I'll not go through again this, but if it is an intra-articular fracture like this, you can use a headless screw to fix the fracture. 2002, the study was there, ulnar stellate fracture associated with distal radius fracture. And they have a very good incidence of radial instability. So whenever there's a fracture which is displaced significantly, we should fix them. And that was the era. All the fractures were fixed. We were fixing almost all of them because we always thought ulnar stellate fractures, it remains painful for a long time for the reason for the ulnar-sided wrist pain. So 2004, this fracture was fixed in many different ways. Everyone had a different experience. We also tried many things. So single screw, 2 screws, tension band wiring, and we were having good results, happy. So base of the fractures, we were fixing all of them. Then paper came in 2008. It is not only the stellate fracture, it can be because of shortening, impaction, ulnar impaction, TFCC injuries, and intercarpal injuries. So as our anatomy and biomechanics was increasing, so we were not concentrating only on stellate fractures. Again, there was a paper in 2009 which said that non-union ulnar stellate fracture did not necessarily mean that they are going to have ulnar-sided pain. So literature started becoming confusing. There was a lot of gray zones coming because everyone was basing their things on radiology, X-rays. Then arthroscopy came in. So in triangular THCC injuries were found to be associated with ulnar stellate malunions. We also had a study in which we found distal radius fracture, MRA-based study, 40% of patient had associated you can say soft tissue or ligament injuries. Again, this paper was coming in 2008. It is a predictive factor, ulnar stellate. So it just says that there's an injury, but you cannot say that if there is a fracture, you have to fix all of them. And this was the study in 2011, which says fixation does not affect the outcome. So ulnar stellate fixation. So we did a complete 360-degree turns in at the span of 10 years in the literature that we have to fix all of them to it does not matter. So what was it? What was the thing which was mattering? Just going through the few cases, stellate fracture fixed along with the distal radius fracture, good results, good outcome. Again, fixed with the help of the screw, and DRUJ stabilization was done with the help of a wire. We'll come to that again, then tension band wiring. So there were different ways we were doing it. So this was a patient, sorry, video is not working. So patient had a ulnar stellate fracture. Patient had a distal radius fracture, but DREJ was stable. We could mobilize this patient very early without any pain. So there was something else other than a fracture. So just an example, stellate fracture fixed with the help of screw. So when we started doing arthroscopy, we could find that fracture something like this, a very small fracture. When you're doing arthroscopic assisted fixation, you're fixing the thing, then you can see the TFCC. TFCC is also injured. And instead of fracture fixation only, you can just do inside out at the same time fixation. You can see the plate has been applied, TFCC repaired. So as our knowledge about ligaments and TFCCs increased, it was not the fracture, it was a soft tissue or ligamentous injury which was causing the pain or instability at the DREJ. Another case like this, where scapholinate ligament was there, which was being stabilized. This was pocket in arthroscopic assisted and stabilized with the help of K-wire. So now I'll come to the little bit away from the joint, metaphyseal fracture. Metaphyseal fracture, we treat them just like any other ulnar fracture, independent of distal radius fracture. If fracture is unstable, we do the fixation. If it is something like this, using a plate or maybe a wire, and maybe with the help of K-wire, we can fix the stelloid also. Another patient in which compound fracture, distal radius, ulnar fracture, I'll say more of diaphyseal fracture. This was a case after fixator, open fracture. We knew that this will require resurfacing. So we did the fixation and ALT flap was done at the same time. So this is the ALT flap. We ignored the ulna. Then ulna gave us problem. Non-union the ulna. Ulna was fixed. Again, stelloid, there was a avulsion of the PFCC, which was fixed. This was open with the anchor. Follow-up, implants removal. This patient was a pilot. He couldn't rejoin as a pilot again. So there are different ways to do it. So after this confusing literature, what should we do? Always when you're fixing a distal radius fracture, intraoperatively, you assess your DREJ. This is a very simple way of doing things. If it is a stable, we can leave it. If it is a unstable, we see whether it is a stable in pronation or supination. If it is stable in pronation, give a above elbow splint. If it is stable in pronation, give us above elbow split in pronation. In supination, then give in supination. So this was again another patient who had a old patient who had a distal ulnar fracture along with it. So we excised it. Directs was done. This was an old patient, low demand patient. Directs was done. So in conclusion, I was saying we can do fixation. If it is stable, then immobilize. If it is unstable in pronation as well as supination, you stabilize with the help of a K-wire. K-wire should be proximal to the sigmoid notch because we don't want it to go through the DREJ. And if possible, do the arthroscopy, and in case of avulsion, repair the TFCC. So conclusion will be that after fixation of DREJ, take a call on your ulnar stelloid fracture.